Greetings and salutations, this is Weekly Jarsz, the biggest YouTuber ever! And good morning, Jarsholes! Welcome to the latest episode of the Weekly Jarsz for the week ending the 16th of December, 2023. If you're a Peanuts fan, you know that it's Beethoven's birthday. And there's only 9 days left until Christmas. I tell you that it isn't long until the fat man cometh, but I'm already here. A special shout out to those that clicked subscribe this week. Welcome to the world of Jarsz. I hope you enjoy the show. We'll be laughing at the willfully stupid as always. This week had a few events, so we'll look at the news, and then we'll have a regular look at CC and Level Earth Observer. I'll introduce you to a new conspiracy nutter, and we have an idiot of the week this week. He has some very strange and obviously baseless ideas about Australia. But before I get into that, I want to thank my YouTube members. Yes, thank you for all that you do for me, and thanks for being part of the Weekly Jarsz movement. And next week, that list will, unfortunately for me, reduce, as some of you who were gifted memberships by Siggy Sigwell haven't bothered to renew, and that's okay. I know times are tough for everyone, but if you can, please renew, and if you can't, please keep coming back to watch. So let's move on to the news. And in space news, the thing that Flurfs think is fake, of course. Oh, who am I kidding? Flurfs don't think. Asteroid Leona passed in front of Betelgeuse this week. Apparently, it didn't fully cover Betelgeuse, but and it was on the other side of the planet when it happened from me, so I never got to see it. But I saw some video of it that was quite interesting. Sorry, a photo of it. That was quite interesting. I don't know if any of you saw it. Please comment in the chat if you saw Betelgeuse get dimmed by the asteroid. That was quite an interesting event. I don't think in my lifetime that's ever happened, anything like that. And also, do we have any Arabic speakers in the chat? Because the word that we pronounce Betelgeuse is an Arabic word, and I suspect, I've said it twice. Maybe I shouldn't say it a third time. I suspect that we're pronouncing it incorrectly. I remember an astronomer friend of mine from when I was younger said it should be pronounced something like Betelgeuse, but I'm not sure he was just making it up. He wasn't Arabic. So if there's any Arabic speakers in the chat, can you please point me out and straighten me out on? Sorry, can you please straighten me out on how to pronounce that star's name correctly? Also, in space news, the Geminids meteor shower is on at the moment. So we got a lot. Whoops, that didn't work. I clicked the wrong thing. Got a live feed at the moment. Let's see if we can see a few as they come past. I've been watching these. Oh, it moved a little bit. I've been watching these as there's quite a few live feeds of the Geminids because, as the Earth rotates, it gets lighter in certain places. The one on Mauna Kea is really good, but it's daytime there right now. So I'm not seeing any on this one. They apparently are best from midnight through to dawn. So figure out where you are and where it'll be between midnight and dawn somewhere else and look for a live feed there. I haven't seen any yet. Come on, little asteroids, little meteors, I should say. Well, I guess they are asteroids, technically. Come on, I want to see one before I stop showing this. They happen quite quickly, usually. And, of course, now I'm looking for them. They're not going to show. Oh, there's one. There we go. All right. I can stop showing that now. All right. So that's the Geminids. So go out and watch if you can. As you can see, this is from Cosmo Sapiens. I didn't want to. Oh, there's another one. Good, we got two. So in Tasmania, here in Tasmania, there's an Aussie town brought to a standstill because of a cheeky elephant seal throwing its weight around. Neil the seal, a cheeky southern elephant seal that stops by Tasmanian towns each year, has again become a hit on TikTok after new videos of his antics near Dunalley, east of Hobart, were shared by locals. Now, remember, Tasmania is the tiniest Australian state, so any town in Tasmania is going to be tiny compared to most towns. So bringing it to a standstill, sort of, well, it probably was anyway. But here's some pictures of Neil. Just he's got a bit of a huge ass vibe happening there, and he was blocking the road. I like this: a 400 kilogram wild animal who could kill you. Yes, I guess he could by sitting on you. But he's only 400 kilograms. Geez, it's a lightweight. I've got a little bit of video from the ABC. Let's just have a quick look at this. I don't want to play too much for copyright reasons, even though my taxes pay for this.
He's playing with the cone.
Neil the seal has a penchant for playing with traffic cones and a love of lying in the sun. The nearly 2-year-old elephant seal has become a popular feature at a beach near Hobart, where he's been hauled out for the past month.
We're not entirely sure why they do it, but one of the ideas is that they do it so that they can...
There we go. We got there. Phew. Neil the seal. Yes, I like his attitude, lying around and not doing much. That seems good. And in New York City, a bunch of Santa impersonators went on a pub crawl, a charity pub crawl, apparently. SantaCon it's called. I don't know if that means it is a con. But apparently people pretending to be fat and getting drunk, that seems to be something I can get behind. And, I hadn't noticed this photo. Yes, he's quite a handsome policeman, isn't he? Anyway, that's that one. Apparently this happens in other cities around the US as well, and in other countries as well. We should maybe start that somewhere else as well. I wouldn't mind going on that. And that's the news. So, Ryan Cooper says he's done this Santa crawl a few times. All right, so let's have a look. Now we have our regular look at... Oh, where's my notes gone? Goodness me, I am a bit disorganized this morning, but it is 5:40 in the morning. All right, CC has made up for his suddenly Everett. Let me call up that screen. Oh, I've lost it. Where is it? Is it that one? Yes, that's CC. He's made up for his slovenly effort of last week of 0 videos, and this week he's put out 7. So I'm not going to show you all 7 because 3 of them are basically the same thing. And for one of them, he's in his kitchen. So no sign of the wife, though. I know people like seeing CC in his kitchen. For a start, it means he's being safe rather than doing a video while driving. Although he normally doesn't do it while driving. It's usually parked, but either way. So we'll have a look at that. So this first one, he says, only possible on a flat stationary plane. So let's have a listen to what he has to say.
Unfortunately, we can't get the sun coming closer to us, but...
Sorry, he's a bit quiet on this one, so maybe I'll put the CCs on.
Look at that, though. That is only possible on a flat land. There's no way you live on a globe, my friends. I'm sorry.
How?
Sorry.
How, CC? Explain why.
I'll tell you, everything you've learned in school, when it comes down, the science is complete bullshit. Look at that. Look at that.
CC, how is this only possible on a flat plane? You've got to explain that. It's the sunset. It happens on the Earth all the time.
That's fantastic.
You going to explain it or not? Come on.
Love it. This is the best time to get the sun. When they've been chemtrailing us to death.
Chemtrailing you to death, and yet you're still alive to tell us about it. How does that work, CC?
And you just get these spectacular views. On this Sunday day of worship. Understand, you're here for a reason. God created all of this for you.
So if it's a day of worship, why aren't you in church? Why are you looking at the, I don't know if it's sunrise or sunset, I can't remember what he said. But the fact that the sun sets is not possible on a flat stationary plane. So I don't get your point. You're not explaining it.
And you do it for purpose. Unfortunately.
CC, your purpose is to give us entertainment. We can laugh at the stupid.
Well, we'll get into that later, but don't you enjoy this for a bit? All right. Stand by.
All right, that's the end of that one. Oh, CC. Oh, I noticed that the casual engineer said, where is it? This one. Oh, that sounded terrible. I don't know if that was me. That might have been how I recorded it and I made a mistake. Tell me, I don't know if Google have fixed the echo problem. Maybe play this clip of CC and tell me if you're hearing an echo.
This happens sometimes. This happens to me. It's happened to me. Yes, all the time. Yes, all the time.
Any echo on that, folks? Let me know in the chat and I'll continue with the next video of CC, which I've sped up, I think. Yes, I have. All right, let's see what he says.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 12/8/23. I mean, guess what, guys? We're just rolling up to Christmas. Christmas parties, office parties, all that good stuff. Places where you keep your mouth shut. Don't even get into NASA. And most of all, don't get into politics. And if you do, you'll be saving a lot of money for Christmas. And I hope it's not snowing where you are because you will be booted out and sitting on the sidewalk somewhere. So shut your mouth. Okay. Let's talk, shall we? Come on, let's have a serious conversation. Serious conversation. Trolls, this is a serious conversation, okay?
CC, when have you ever had a serious conversation? You just speak nonsense. Let's see what he says.
I've been really busy, so the only thing I could really do is from time to time pop in, you know, and just see the nonsense that people are spewing out that think that they live on a spinning wet ball and flying through space. This imaginary Walt Disney World bullshit that they have learned, that we all have learned. Okay.
How long did you take to write that line, CC?
We've all learned it, but you can't really believe all of the stuff that you're saying, do you? Trolls, I'm talking to you.
You've got to give me a bit more than argument from incredulity, Chris. You know, it's just, the fact that you idiots just stick to your incredulity rather than actually presenting some evidence that you're correct. It's almost as if you don't have any.
To you. I mean, don't you realize you live on a flat, stationary land here? There's no movement. There's nothing. That's a projection. Okay,
Bob proved that there was movement. So why are you arguing with Bob? Rest in peace, Bob.
Get into that for a second very quickly with you. I've been tossing ideas here and there about the sun and the moon.
Yes, you certainly are a tosser.
Let's first work with the sun. Okay. All right. Now, I remember that doctor back in the 50s, and we were lucky to actually get that video on him. And he was stating that the moon is a plasma. I didn't really understand what he was talking.
Oh, yes. Have you seen this video? There was some guy who apparently had a PhD in the 50s and was like 3 years before the moon landing saying, oh, we're never going to land on the moon because it's plasma. We can't do it. The fact that we've proven that wrong just 3 years after that, Flurf seemed to ignore that. They just want to believe this guy because they thought he was credible. But the only reason they think he's credible is because they said what they wanted him to say. It just shows the intellectual dishonesty of Flurfs.
Talking about originally. I know it's a projection, but I didn't.
Projection is something Flurfs are very good at. But CC's saying the moon is a projection. Who's projecting it? And against what? How do they keep the screen clean?
Really understand the plasma situation on it. So what I'm suggesting, okay, I'm going to bring it up, throw it out there. Other people.
Hang on. Is it a projection or plasma? It can't be both. They're two different things.
Said it too. It doesn't matter. That there could be, before the dome, that there could be like a plasma or something. And I think I might have mentioned this. But that.
Oh, okay. So there's a dome, which he has no evidence for. And now he's saying that there's plasma between us and the dome, which he has no evidence for and no way of keeping it up there. You're just pulling things out of your backside, aren't you, CC?
That's where the actual sun is, and that's where the actual moon is. Now, there could be something from the North Pole All right. And that would be the black rock, you know, the mountain that's black. That's the tallest mountain on our flat plane, but nobody seems to talk about it. Nope. It's above.
If it's the tallest mountain, shouldn't we be able to see it from anywhere on the plane? Because there's nothing in the way. It's flat. But you've never seen it, so how do you know it's there? Rectally extracted. That flat Earth is rectally extracted.
Of the cloud line. Nobody seems to say a fucking word about it. They say Mount Everest. Everest is the biggest mountain in the world. Wrong. What about Black Rock? Forgot about that.
What evidence do you have that it even exists, let alone that it's the biggest mountain in the world? The fact, and if the Earth actually is flat, you should be able to see it. So, you're contradicting yourself, CC.
That's projecting through the plasma into whatever is up there. And
hang on, a mountain is projecting through the plasma to presumably the dome. How does a mountain project? Who changes the bulb on the mountain?
Projecting rays down, creating the sun and the moon.
So the mountain projects into the plasma and that bounces back to create the sun and the moon. But the sun and the moon look very different. And if it's a projection of the mountain, they don't look like mountains. What the hell are you on about, CC?
And that's where the triangle comes from.
Triangle? What?
That's why you see triangles all over the place and all of the emblems on these fucking things and medical.
How did we get to triangles? I think my brain's about to break.
Emblems, police, they have these triangles. So projection right from black rock into whatever's into the plasma, whatever layer it is up there, because we already shot a GoPro rocket up there and it stopped. And people say that, it stopped because of detached bullshit. No, it didn't do that. That's not the reason why it stopped. It stopped because.
How do you know that, CC? How do you know it wasn't that? You just say things. Goodness me. Thank goodness you do, though. It's so amusing.
There's a barrier of some sort out there. Okay, look at SpaceX. He's blowing shit up all the time. Every day we get a nice little fucking show from Elon. It's great. You're gonna love it. And everybody thinks that maybe he's on our side. Don't trust that motherfucker. Okay, we don't know what he switches back and forth. He's a puppet. They're all puppets. Every single one of them. Okay.
I can see the strings on you, CC. I don't know who it is, though. It's probably yourself.
We got a real puppet right now that is just such a fuck up. I don't even know where this country's going anymore at this point. The city.
Oh, come on. Don't get into politics.
Okay, see, there you go. All right, let's get back to the sun and the moon.
Thank you.
So, if it's in a plasma and it's projecting down, obviously, and that's the only way you're going to get the rays. They call them sun dogs or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. And with the moon, the same thing. And that's creating its own light, okay, which has been proven. I mean, time and time again.
No, it hasn't, CC. It's been proven that it doesn't do that. The very fact we have phasers proves that. How can you possibly say any of this shit?
I mean, these idiots can't even explain why it's emitting cold rays.
It's not. Cold rays would break the second law of thermodynamics. It's impossible for a ray to cool. Energy doesn't work like that.
There's so much shit with flat Earth, okay, that proves that everything is flat, everything is stationary.
There's so much shit is correct.
Something else is going on. I've done videos on stars. I don't know what the fuck those things. I know it's an amazing light show up there, and I know it's just a projection. Lights.
How can you know that? You use an out-of-focus camera to look in at a star. Why don't you use a telescope? Why are you so scared of actually finding out the truth?
Okay, but when you actually zoom in on these things, do you see what NASA's putting out there? No, you don't. You see the truth.
No. If you use a telescope, you will see exactly the same thing. You should subscribe to a few amateur astronomer sites. They're always posting photos in focus that show that what NASA shows is correct. But who cares about NASA, really? You can do it yourself, as the amateur astronomers prove.
Okay? All right, don't give me some bullshit about powerful telescopes and all that other crap. Nonsense!
Yes, nonsense to you because it disproves you, so you don't want to look at it, you coward.
I believe that was Spiga, or whatever the fucking name of these stupid stars that they make up on. By the way, astrology is just there to confuse you. That's all it's there for. It's another thing to confuse you with. That's a fucking clock up there. It's as simple as that.
Yes, well, it confused you, CC, because you are very confused.
That's all. It's a very complicated clock telling us something that nobody really has been able to figure out, or maybe they have, because they have all the time in the world and all the money in the world. And guess what? You're paying for it. Yeah, that's right. You're paying for these amazing light shows that we're having up in this. Well, not the amazing light show. I'm saying you're paying for the 4th of July fireworks that they blast off into the sky every time they blast them off. Billions of dollars are being just pissed away. Well,
every satellite that goes up there makes far more money than it costs to put it there. That's why they put it there.
Most of them, they're all balloons anyway. It doesn't make a difference. I'm sure they're very cheap. God knows where all this money's going. But I mean, people, you just got to wake up. And I understand you.
So hang on. He was talking about rockets going up, and then he switched to balloons. Which is it, CC? Is it a rocket or a balloon? And waking up, yes, I think you should. But you seem utterly dedicated to staying asleep.
YouTube has now been compromised. There is no chance in hell that you're going to be able to get a true YouTube video on flat Earth anymore. You might get lucky, you might get lucky and find a good story in the New York Times, but no, you're not going to. Okay.
Define true flat Earth, because flat Earth is a lie. So by definition, it cannot be true.
YouTube has been infiltrated. Twitter has been infiltrated. Rumble, I guess that's probably still good. I'm not even really sure because I'm not part of anything else.
How are you making these determinations, CC? What are you basing it on? You never, apart from incredulity, obviously.
But you're not going to be able to find any videos. All you have to do is just spend a couple of bucks and just download the app. It's a couple of bucks. Take the
the propaganda app. Yes. So CC's advocating just brainwash yourself with Dirt's app. That's all you have to do. Don't spend some money on a telescope and look for yourself. Get someone else to tell you what to think.
2-week challenge. I mean, if you can't even do that and take a look at these videos that are put together on this app that goes down step by step, one by one, and shows you all the proofs in the flat Earth, then forget it. Move.
Look at the debunks as well. Every single one of those has been debunked comprehensively because it's all bullshit. Dirth is a grifter. Don't believe grifters. Don't give grifters money. It's like politicians. If you vote for them, you only encourage them. Give a grifter money, it only encourages them. Don't do it.
Come on, go enjoy your fucking life and pretend like you live on a spinning wet ball, because you don't. And if you're happy with that, fine. Stay the fuck away from me, though. I can't talk.
Well, sorry, I just can't respond to that. It's just too stupid.
To you, all right? If you're not willing to open up your mind and at least take a look at an application that is going to show you the truth of
No, it's going to brainwash you into believing nonsense.
Everything. And I'm talking everything. I'm talking our history that now is fake because they made up all the history. They said, I'm not even going to get into this because I can talk for hours on this shit. But my point is, it tells you everything. It tells you about the pyramids. This application will tell you exactly where our history is coming from. Okay. It tells and explains everything to you. It's all there.
It'll give an explanation, but it's all of it's been debunked, and it's all come from a grifter, so you can't trust it in the first place. I think we've established who CC's Papa Flurf is. It's Dirth. I don't think Dirth knows that, but CC certainly has allowed Dirth to brainwash him.
Okay, the internet now has become a cesspool. That's all it is at this point. Okay, I mean, just take the app challenge. That's all. Take the 2-week app challenge, and once you go through it and you figure out what you live on, and you will, I can guarantee you that, we'll be here. We'll be here to talk to you. But if you're just going to sit there and piss your life away and argue with people, fine. Go argue with somebody about basketball.
That's what you do, CC. That's why you make these videos.
Basketball and baseball and football and those other fake fucking bullshit things that are going on about who's making so much money, who's going to be called off, who's going to get hurt next, who's going to and nonsense. It's all bullshit. It's there to confuse you. All of it is bullshit.
You are very confused, CC, and you're spewing bullshit.
All of it. And I'm sorry that I have to tell you that, but it's all bullshit. Here's another sleeper right here. He's not awake. Most people aren't, but some people are. And they're the smartest people in the world.
How would you know you're asleep?
I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my video.
Oh, forget that end bit. Oh, that was a beauty. Ramblings of a madman, correct. Goodness me, that was ridiculous. All right, here's the one in his kitchen. I know people like seeing him in his kitchen. It's only a short one. Thank goodness I need to relax after that. Let's see what he says.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We're going to be CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County.
I didn't think Chris was that short. He seems to be very low down. You'd think he'd have his camera so he was straight at his face, wouldn't you?
12-9. 23. See, I really have a question for all the scientists out there. See, we do have a problem with this compass. Okay. See, this compass always points to north.
It also points to south because there's two ends to a needle.
God wants you to go north to check things out. Take a look at it. Forget about south, because you have no compass down at the South Pole at all, but yet it's a magnetic point that's showing you to go north. Okay. All right. See, this is a big
By convention, yes.
It really is. God,
You just throw it away.
Go north. Figure out the Black Rock, the mountain.
You're telling other people to do this and you haven't done it yourself. Interesting.
I think. This is my own speculation.
Oh, at last. He finally admits it's just all speculation. So, in his own words, it's bullshit.
Take a look at it and then go down south. You know where south is? Yeah, that's Antarctica. Somewhere we can't go and investigate.
Oh, for God's sake. You can actually catch a flight there these days from South Africa. Oh. There's actually a marathon being run in Antarctica soon. So you can go there and you can do whatever you want. Just don't expect people to help you, because there aren't a lot of people there to help you.
All right. And that really pisses me off. Really pisses me off.
Well, just start up a crowd fund and send yourself there. Get some people to back you so you can go.
We can't go down there. We can't do anything down there. We can't investigate. But
why don't you fitten yourself up and go into that marathon? You can do that.
Everything is magnetic. Don't you see this? It's always pointing to the north. Why is it not pointing to the south?
It is pointing to the south. A needle has two ends. South is the opposite of north, and north is the opposite of south. How can you not see that?
Why? Sorry, guys, you've been lied to all of your lives.
Yes, you're doing it right now.
It sucks. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos, and let me be a part of your life.
Oh, for God's sake. Well, that was a bit of a palate cleanser, I guess. I think I need a break from this. This is sort of getting to me a bit. It's getting a bit too stupid. And it's CC. You kind of expect that, but this is beyond more than what he does normally. What's happening in the chat? Maybe I'll have a little break that way, because there's quite a few videos to come. 50-cent compass, yes. Yes, CC explained the difference between magnetic and true north. Yes, he wouldn't understand that. He wouldn't understand what magnetic declination is. No Fleur seems to understand that. Dinner parties at CC House must be entertaining. Well, just like his videos. They are entertaining. But God. I have to calm down. All right, I guess I need to launch back into it, though. 35 watching. Well done, folks. Thank you very much for showing up and getting your dose of Jarsz. All right, CC, let's... Oops, where's my mouse gone? Yep, there we go. Let's get back into it.
Like a camera has something. All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We're maybe CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's...
His hair looks particularly magnificent today, I'd say.
12/10/23. Sunday, the day of worship. Okay.
Weren't you going to do like a cartoon Sunday regular thing? So this isn't it.
Okay. I bring out my Bible because I've been reading it. I've been reading the Christian Bible lately, and I have quite a few terms that I'd like to enhance on. However, let's take a look at something that I've been interested in finding out about. And that would be information about the Black Rock. Yeah, in the North Pole. You know, the highest mountain that's out there. Okay.
So how do you know about this, Chris? It's just amazing. He just makes shit up and says, oh, it must be true because I thought of it.
So let's look through Google. Okay. Yeah. I only use Google. I usually don't use that for a search engine, but for now, let's have some fun. Okay. All right. So highest mountain on Earth. Yeah, it just pops right up. Okay. Wikipedia has the highest mountain generally, Mauna Loa. That's 13,678 feet and 4,169 metric miles for you guys out in the UK.
Metric miles.
Let's look at the 5 tallest mountains in the US. Mount Everest, of course. Oh, that's a beautiful picture, isn't it? Look at that. Let's take a picture of it this morning. Oh, look at the red sky. That's nice. Okay, but you see, there's Mount Everest again. You idiots who scaled this mountain. I don't know what your deal is.
Focus, CC, focus.
But good luck if you get to the top of the mountain up there. And the atmospheric conditions are horrible because it's begun. This is 28,000 feet above sea level. So I think air around 15,000 is not breathable. So you have to go through this 30-day process to climb this goddamn mountain. Oh.
It's almost as if there's a gradient. And, you know, unlike there would be if there was a dome enclosing us.
Oh, sorry about goddamn. I'm sorry. My fault. Okay. Shall we continue? I think we should. You see, I'm not finding anything about Mount Everest. I'm not finding anything about the tallest mountain in the world. This is what Google will tell you.
I wonder why that is, Chris. You're not finding Black Rock Mountain at the North Pole when you do a search for the largest, tallest mountain in the world? Could it be that it doesn't exist?
So we're going to have to go into Google search and actually find out exactly how to find this mountain. Okay? All right, so let's go into here. This is just like explaining flat Earth to somebody. You know?
Flat Earthers do not explain flat Earth. You ask them for evidence of flat Earth and they'll just talk about anything else.
Black Mountain. Black Rock Mountain. Okay. North Pole.
You'd think they'd come up with a better name than just Black Rock Mountain. I mean, you know, it's meant to be like the center of the world. Why wouldn't it have a better name than that?
Let's try to find that. See what that would pull up.
Could be Mount Magneticus or something like that. That would be a much more interesting name. But Black Rock Mountain, that's like in Australia, we have a snake, we call the brown snake. Most of them aren't brown, but that's what we call it.
Okay. Nothing. Okay, so my question is that we can't even find any pictures of this at all. None. Nothing.
Could that be because there's zero evidence for it?
Wikipedia, blog, YouTube, Black North Mountain found. Everything has been hidden. Don't you seem to understand that? Everything's...
You can't find it, therefore it's been hidden. Right.
Been hidden from us. You'll never find your origin by searching anything at all on Google. Or anything else.
Surely that should be a clue. A clue that you're believing nonsense.
That video I made yesterday with my compass, which is crap we use on the boat. But it doesn't make a difference. It always will show magnetic north. And unfortunately...
So he does know that there is a magnetic north.
There is no magnetic south. So what?
Yes, there is. Oh, dear CC. You just rectally extract these things and just believe them because you rectally extracted them. not really a good basis for a worldview.
Why does the compass always point north?
Like I said, it also points south because the needle has two ends.
Always, and it always will. No electricity, no all needed. No batteries in your compass. It just needs a little water and a dial. And it always points north.
And the reason for that is Earth's magnetic field. I'm not sure why this is so difficult for you, Chris.
See, on a globe, that wouldn't work.
It works because it's a globe, you idiot.
The magnetic interior of a so-called imaginary planet would disrupt those waves. So a compass would never work on a ball
What do you mean disrupt them? You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
or a spinning wet ball. There's no way. It would be impossible. It would be impossible from China. China's up beneath me right now. It's underneath. That's China. They're
No, it isn't. You're both in the same hemisphere. It can't be underneath you.
underneath me. Okay. And there's no way that their compass could work.
Why, Chris? Don't just say it can't happen. Explain why it can't happen.
A spinning wet ball. It's impossible. Okay, so
It's impossible. Yet he doesn't explain why it's impossible. This is brainwashing. That's all you're doing, Chris. It's because you've been brainwashed by idiots.
challenge any scientists out there to tell me, explain to me how a compass works on a spinning wet ball.
The Earth's magnetic field always points to north. The compass picks up on that magnetic field, and that's how it works. I really don't have to explain much more than that if you've had a high school education, which I hope you have had, Chris, especially when you're driving people around. I'd be a bit scared if you didn't have that much knowledge.
And I even hate to say planet. Oh, that word is just so annoying, but these so-called scientists think we live on this. How does a compass work?
What would you call it if it's not a planet, Chris? Oop.
See, it only works on a flat plane. It would have to be the highest
Why would it work on a flat plane? You've got to explain that as well.
mountain on a plane in order for us to point directly north for the compass.
Why? There's mountains all over Earth. Why is that one special? You've got to explain that.
Point directly north. I mean,
And people in the chat, I do know why flat earthers think that. I'm just wanting Chris to say that because otherwise he's not really explaining what he's talking about.
this is like fucking 101. This is, I mean, there's so much shit to cover. And this is just nonsense. This is fucking nursery school as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, I don't think you're intelligent enough for nursery school, Chris.
A simple compass proves that the Earth is flat and that we live on a plane. And I'm sorry, I didn't do this. I didn't make this world.
For God's sake. Again, not saying why it proves, just saying that it does, which is brainwashing. So what flat earthers think is Black Rock Mountain, that's why I said it should be called Mount Magneticus, is a big magnet. And that's why it attracts compasses to point to it all the time. That's why it's at the North Pole. They clearly have no idea how electromagnetism works because you've got to have two poles by definition. Otherwise, a monopole magnet is theoretically possible, but it's never been observed. And, you know, if it's powerful enough we can measure magnetic fields and it doesn't change the closer you get to the North Pole in any significant way. So that doesn't explain it. You don't have the data to support you, Chris. You're just spewing nonsense some idiot told you to think.
I'm just here living it and exposing the truth. I think it's something I think reviewing what videos.
You're not exposing truth, Chris. You're repeating bullshit. You convince yourself it's true, but you don't have the brains to realize that it's not. Oh, dear. How many more we got? We got one more, Chris. I don't think I'm going to last, but we'll see how we go. All right. This one's, it's another 9 minutes. Thank goodness it's sped up. All right. Let's get into it and get this over and done with. Yes, we are waiting for Chris's wife to show up, but I think he's probably playing that a bit better. I heard they split up, actually. I'm not sure that's true, and I hope it's not, because I don't like hearing about families splitting up. But, yeah, That poor woman, I really have empathy for her. All right, Chris, take us into the stupid zone again.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County, 12/14/23. You know, I'm tired of them. I'm tired of this bullshit of people that just won't do their research. None.
Yes, Chris. That's why we're laughing at you right now, because you won't do your research. You just repeat what some idiot told you to think.
Won't even look at it. They won't even bother looking at it. Okay, let's just take something simple. Something simple.
Things that have been debunked comprehensively for over 2,000 years aren't worth looking at.
Okay, let's take a look at this. I mean, I want to get into flat Earth, of course, but just something simple about Biden. That every single...
Oh, we don't want to talk about politics. Let's just see how... Well, we'll give him a few seconds just to see how he goes.
Thing that he has done, well, he hasn't done anything, it's his handlers, but every single thing that the administration has done, his administration, has failed.
You can say that about pretty much any politician. Let's see if we can jump ahead a bit.
Now almost 3.5, I would say, somewhere around there. Go back to 2020. How many people lost their job because they were forced?
We're still doing...
whatever. Take a shot. Donuts we were given. I think the mayor was actually handed out $100, if I remember correctly. See, people forget about this, you know. But then the hammer came down.
Still talking politics?
Or you're not going to be driving anymore. That's where they're headed with this one. It's not going to work. It's all bullshit. It's all political nonsense. But if you either do it, if this administration continues going on the way it is, you know, that's really what would happen. And little does people know, electric cars here in New York, Canada, Canada, let's call it, all the way up there, you know, they don't really like cold weather. They do well in California. Oh, sure, down in Florida.
Canadians don't like cold weather. Yes. Well, that would make it suck to be a Canadian because they get a lot of it.
All day long, I think we'll just turn right over. But unfortunately, when it gets really chilly, batteries tend to fault a little bit, so it becomes a problem. Plus, the fact that you don't have an engine, the snow doesn't melt off your hood anymore. You better be cleaning that car off. It's a disaster. It's a disaster waiting to happen. And the batteries are great. You gotta love the batteries, right?
I understand Teslas have a way of heating the exterior to melt snow and things like that. So there are always ways around it, Chris. You don't have to just assume that it doesn't work the way that you're used to.
I just heard if you get into a small collision, 5-10 miles per hour, the insurance company totals out your Tesla or whatever electric car you're driving because they don't have the technology to figure out what kind of damage is done to the battery. So the insurance company hikes your rates through the roof. I can imagine another extra bonus of why you should go electric. What a bad idea. Nothing set up for it.
Well, if CC says you shouldn't buy an electric car, I think I'm going to go and buy an electric car.
Forget it. I don't even know how I fucking get into this. Elon, you suck. Okay, it's all right. It's fine. Well, he doesn't have anything to do with it.
You know, I'm starting to worry about CC more than usual. Obviously, I worry about him all the time because he's a bit of an unhinged sort of person. But lately, these videos are showing that he is really in a dark place right now. Let's hope he pulls himself out of it.
The company anymore anyway. And he never did. He bought the company. He didn't make Tesla. You do realize that. He hasn't done anything. He buys things. You know, that's what he does. He didn't invent Twitter.
Yes, people who are investors tend to do that, Chris.
He bought it. He didn't make Tesla. He bought it. He didn't do PayPal. That's where he made all of his money. He bought it. Oh, man.
I believe that's not true. I believe PayPal was started by a bunch of people. Elon was one, who have all gone on to do, make their own fortunes as a result. PayPal it's one of those genius factories, you might say.
They're just so ridiculous. You see, they forget. That's the problem. They forget.
Or they misremember, like you.
So back to researching.
Thank goodness.
See, you know, they give us curves, they give us poles, they give us all this nonsense, and little do they know it's so easy because the local sun covers everything. Every morning when you wake up, you get that nice...
It doesn't cover sunsets or sunrises, though, does it? They wouldn't work on a flat plate.
Perfectly red, colorful, with all sorts of colors, and it looks the same every day.
Oh, maybe this is how he's explaining that first video we saw.
It could be Monday, Saturday, Sunday. Doesn't matter. The local sun doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to the local sun. It's going to be like that every single day. In the afternoon, and at night, when the sun goes away, it's going to look like that everywhere the same exact way.
Same reasoning can be applied to the sun in the glow bottle. I don't really understand the point you're trying to make.
Every day. Local sun is amazing because that explains all of the. If there was such thing as a spinning wet ball, I don't even think it would have weather. Actually, to be honest with you, it would just be too precise. There's.
Oh, for God's sake! One of the main reasons we have weather is because of rotation. Goodness me! Oh, this is too stupid. How can you not know that, Chris?
No way. It would always go off a degree or something like that. What's your proof? What's your evidence about that? What's your evidence that you live on a ball? None. Pictures. Bullshit. Nonsense.
We've got heaps of evidence that we live on a ball. You just say it's all bullshit, so that doesn't make it all bullshit, you fool. Oh. I mean, the fact that the horizon never rises to eye level at elevation, because when you're at sea level, the angle is too small. But if you go up on the plane, the horizon is not at your at level. It's below that, which means the Earth curves away from you, which means it's spherical or conical, cylindrical at best. But the fact that you can do it in any direction proves that it's spherical. That's a very simple proof. The fact that the sun sets is a simple proof that it's not a flat plane. The fact that the sun rises is proof that it's not a flat plane. Otherwise, you have to explain where the sun goes at night.
See, we're here to make people, not make them, get them to turn a light on and do some research. That's what I like to do. Oh, I know.
No, you don't do research. You allow yourself to be brainwashed by an idiot's app.
You're saying to yourself, you went to some Christmas parties, didn't you? Yes, I did. And I almost didn't keep my mouth shut. Thank God one guy was pulled away from me because I was almost there. I was getting into NASA. I was getting into the bullshit with him. And so somebody else tapped him on the shoulder. He's like, hey, what's up? I was like, oh, thank God. That conversation's over with. And I ended
it. Someone has a good friend that pulled them away from you. And no, you were not nearly there, Chris. He just thought you were an idiot. And that's because you are.
But that's a nice icebreaker. NASA. Why haven't we been to the moon since 1972? Why?
Well, one, there's a lot of cost involved. Two, we basically won the Cold War argument that was all about. We proved, well, not we, but the Americans proved that they were superior in terms of getting to the moon than the Russians. They proved the point. They didn't need to prove it anymore. People wanted their money spent elsewhere. They also had the Vietnam War happening at the same time, which was sucking up a lot of resources. So people don't want to be starving on the street while people are being sent to the moon. That was genuinely the real reason at the time. I remember it in the papers. But people who are younger didn't experience any of that, so they don't know it. And like CC, they don't bother looking it up.
1972 technology must have been amazing because we can't seem to duplicate that in 2023.
Did you not notice Artemis going to the moon just a few months ago? And it's going again, I think, at the end of next year with some people on it. And then after that, they'll be landing.
God, isn't that amazing? That technology. Wait, lost technology. Talk about lost technology.
Oh, for God's sake, the lost technology argument. Are you guys just that stupid? You're basically arguing that Chevrolet have lost the technology to make a 1957 Chevy Bel Air. No, they've moved on and used other technology. They don't need to make a 57 Chevy Bel Air anymore, so they don't have that technology anymore. But they have other technology. They can make much more modern cars. They might be crappier cars, but they can make much more modern cars. And Artemis proves that NASA can make new technology to go to the moon as well.
Atlantis? Come on. What do we want? 1972. We lost.
What happened to it? Where did Atlantis come from? Are you crazy, Chris?
All the technology. We don't know how to do it. We can't. It's too difficult.
It was too expensive.
Top scientists have said this.
It was one astronaut. The flirts keep repeating because they don't understand what he's trying to say. Like the idiots that they are.
And they're still, the most ridiculous thing is that they're still claiming we're in Earth's orbit. What? And they don't even talk about the radiation belt, right? You know, the Van Allen belt up there, you know, is it poisonous? You know, nothing.
It's not poisonous. Radiation is not poisonous. Poisonous is a chemical reaction, not an electromagnetic one. You've been brainwashed by an idiot, Chris, because you clearly have no idea what you're talking about.
At all. Nothing. You're not going anywhere. You never will go anywhere. Nothing will launch off of this flat level land and go anywhere at all except a Hollywood basement in a studio.
Why do they always say it's in the basement? Why do they need to be in a basement? I don't understand that logic. Because, you know, as you said, a studio. Studios generally aren't in basements.
Has anybody bothered taking a look at the Apollo 11 at all? The shadows? Has anybody bothered taking a look at that at all?
Mythbusters did many years ago now, and you can look that video up on YouTube and see that they found there was no problem with it. And they explain why, unlike you, Chris. You just assert things without explaining why.
No, I guess you're busy, right? Yeah, you're too busy. Yeah. Well, they're different shadows. They're pointing in different directions. Okay, the sun, there's only one source.
Perspective, Chris. Something you use a lot for sunsets. That's the reason.
Of light. One source of light only has one shadow. How do you explain multiple shadows?
There weren't multiple shadows. The multiple shadow idea comes from multiple light sources, which is a flirt explanation for why certain things happen in the moon. But that's because they're using incredulity to try and analyze what they see on the moon photos. So flirts get themselves confused, and you're getting yourself confused about their confusion.
Shadows. That doesn't make any sense.
Of course it doesn't. It's a flirt explanation. It never makes any sense.
There is no atmosphere on the moon. Although, wait a minute. I think Science Times or whatever said that the atmosphere is now extended from Earth to the moon.
Oh, for God's sake, not this again. How can you idiots not understand this? Atmosphere just means the gas particles under the influence of Earth's gravity. The fact that hydrogen atoms are way out past the moon says that the moon is technically in the atmosphere, but not in the way that you understand it, which is here on the surface of the Earth. That's incredibly low pressure out there. If you know anything about atmospheres, this is really easy, but somehow you twist it because you don't want to understand it.
Just more reinforcement. That's all that is. It's all bullshit. You're not going anywhere. There's no space at all whatsoever. Those are amazing light shows.
Plenty of space between your ears, Chris.
Oh, and did anybody bother taking a look at my video of, I think it was Speaker. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'll verify it some way or another when I have some more time. Maybe this weekend, if we get a clear fucking weekend, but we haven't. I haven't been able to go outside and enjoy my amazing light show, or everyone's amazing light show up there, because it's been cloudy every fucking weekend. Pisses me off.
Oh, poor diddums.
Oh, yeah, sure. Maybe you'll get a peek at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And that's what I took that. It was around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, I believe. But anyway, that's what a fake star looks like in real time. Okay, that doesn't look like anything that NASA produces at all, does it?
Yes, because you faked the star.
No, it doesn't. It's amazing though how it looks. You know, it really is how it truly looks when you look at it.
Use a telescope. Don't use a camera. That's not designed for the job.
Anyway, yeah, I'll do some more videos later. I thank you for something. Thank you for viewing my videos.
All right. Thank goodness. That's the end of CC for this week. Oh. I said there were 7 out this week, and I'm going to show you 5. So that was the 5th one. The other 2 videos are like the first one I showed you. It's about the sunset and saying he just expressing incredulity and saying that, this couldn't happen on a flat Earth. On a globe Earth. I'm not going to bother boring you with those. I need to recover now. All right, so by comparison to CC, Level Earth Observer, or Adam, decided to go Christmas shopping or something and has only put out 1 vid. And thankfully, it's a short one. Are these 2 taking turns? One of them does videos 1 week and the other one doesn't, and so on. Anyway, it's a short one. I think I need a change from CC. Let's have a quick look at what Level Earth Observer had to say. Hang on, let me check. It's 1.5. Sounds up. Let's go.
So we're back with a new Globe governor. He's got over 1 million subscribers, millions and millions of views.
So apparently there's someone on TikTok, which I never look at, who called the Globe Governor. And this is what Elliot Adams getting upset about.
He is the new top boy, the governor of the online globe defending scene. So let's see what he's got today.
That's interesting because I hadn't heard of him before Adam brought his attention to me.
This is the Earth. Well, that's Saturn, but look closer. Down here. Yes, this is the Earth. This image was taken on July 19th, 20...
Again, I hate to break it to you, young man, but where is it? That's blatant CGI. Blatant CGI.
This...
What's your evidence for that, Adam? You know, you can't just say it. You're just like CC, aren't you?
Is the Earth. Well, that's Saturn, but look closer. Down here. Yes,
CGI,
this
obvious.
Is the Earth. This image was taken on...
Why is it obvious? What forensic analysis did you do to prove that that was CGI? How many times have you seen the backside of Saturn? You know, you're looking at something you haven't ever experienced. So how do you know that it's not real?
On July 19th, 2013, it was the first time that people around the world knew they were having their image taken from space. So on that Friday...
To be honest, on that day, I don't remember this being mentioned. And I didn't know that this was going on. So that's a strange thing to say.
Friday in July, people around the world came together and posed for Cassini. 900 million...
That's hilarious. So people around the world, around your globe, came together to wave and have their picture taken by Cassini.
Well, theoretically, only those on the night side, because well, maybe not the fully night side. From Saturn, the Earth would have been in a phase of some sort. But yeah, only one side of the Earth would have been involved because the other side were on the other side.
Half of them would have been facing the other direction.
Oh,
Ridiculous.
okay, he made that point.
The sphere was rotating, and it rotated the other people who were waving in the other
Oh, finally, Leo gives us his real voice.
direction to face the Cassini. Shut up.
People around the world came together and...
Casual engineer, Leo has been a bit of an idiot? What do you mean, been?
Posed for Cassini, 900 million miles away.
900 million miles away. I'm sorry. How anyone can take this toss seriously these days is beyond me.
Flurf sees big number. Flurf, big number, scary.
As if we were taking one massive family portrait. I mean, that is truly special. This is the...
You truly need to be a bit special to believe that's Tosh. Like I said, over 1 million subscribers. Pianos left, right, and center. Cartoons up every sleeve. The Globe Governor. And you've seen what these people have got. It's ridiculous.
Oh, hang on, I didn't want to do that. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not going to look at that. All right, Leo, had enough of you. It's just basically being CC, wasn't he, with a silly accent. My mouse is not working very well today. I've just replaced the battery. You'd think it would work better than this. Anyway, so now we're on to a conspiracy. I think this guy's a flurf. He's definitely a conspiracy nutter. His channel's called Yes, It's a Conspiracy. And I've got a feeling I'll be having a look at him in the near future, but I just wanted to play you this short. Just listen to him.
Hey, hope you're doing well. So I went earlier today to a industrial building. They build parts for aerospace fittings and that sort of thing. And I guess they built some parts for some satellites and the space shuttle. I guess there was pictures of NASA and everything on the wall, and they were proud of
So satellites are real.
it. And I just want to put an end to this. So if somebody please show me a picture of a satellite, there should be thousands of satellites allegedly in outer space. There should be pictures and videos of satellites taking photographs and videos of other satellites and multiple satellites in their orbit, and have the sun and the moon in the background and other satellites flying by or anywhere in the distance. So, they don't exist. It's obvious that they don't exist. If for anybody...
They always say it's obvious that they don't exist, even though we can look up and see them going overhead. And in terms of pictures from other satellites, when he's finished, I'll do a quick search for one.
That's spent a minute to look at it. But if you do believe it, please provide me a picture and have fun looking.
Well, obviously you haven't looked. Let's have a quick look. Let's do image search. Let's see. Well, there we are. There's one there. So that's 3 satellites being, well, I'm not sure what the story is, but let's have a look. CubeSats released in low Earth orbit last week. Well, when was this? June 26, 2019. Is this going to come up as a video? Oh, here we go. Oh, it's loading an ad. No, let's not bother with the ad. All right, so I'll probably send him that so he can see the 3 satellites from another satellite, which is what he asked for. And I'm sure we'll find other photos like that too. The launch of the Hubble, for example, was let's do that. Yeah, here it goes. Now that's a picture of, come on. Oh, give me this one. So that's the Hubble about to be released from the space shuttle. So that's a picture of a, why is that doing that? That's a picture of a satellite from another satellite, which the space shuttle is. He'll just redefine it, of course, but anyway. Look at the grinning, shit-eating grin there. What an idiot. He obviously never even bothered to look. I just did it quickly. All right, so now, speaking of idiots, let's move on to our idiot of the week. This guy's featured, well, let me just call him up. This is his video. Put that. Oh, hang on, we'll do that. See his channel name here, Aristotle. What was I going to say about him? This guy featured on Arctic Reflections channel a couple of times, and I guess he thinks the channel name Aristotle makes him seem wise, despite the fact that modern science has proven wrong much of what Aristotle said about the world. He's a conspiracy weirdo, not just a nutter, a weirdo. Not sure if he's a flurf, but he definitely has flurf research skills, as you'll see by what he's researched about Australia. I better strap myself in for this one because I might go ballistic. All right, let's have a look at this fool.
Australia is the most mysterious country in the world with an...
What makes Australia the most mysterious country? What a weird thing to say.
Uncountable number of secrets. It's rarely mentioned in the news, almost as if it doesn't exist. The incredible...
Oh, really? I see it in the news all the time. When we saw Neil the seal earlier. He's from Australia. Well, Tasmania.
Animals found here are unique to the local jungles and have no parallels in our world.
None of those pictures were real. This is like CC saying stars aren't real. He's using fake stuff to make his point. If you have to lie to make your point, it's not a valid point.
Even the fence dividing the continent in half is heavily guarded by the military, but why?
No, it isn't. It's a dingo-proof fence, a rabbit-proof fence. And it does go across the country, but there's plenty of gaps, and there's certainly no military guarding it. We don't have that many military. It's 4,000 kilometers long. We just don't have the military to stop that.
Why could there be another?
Oh, it doesn't go all the way too, because in places like the deserts of Western Australia, there are no rabbits, so they couldn't survive there anyway. So there's no need for the fence.
Hidden land behind Australia, fenced off, and if so, what's there? Let's delve into it. Australia is an entirely unique country with facts that distinctly set it apart from all others. It's rich.
You could say that about every country on Earth.
Its natural world remains full of mysteries yet to be unraveled.
You could say that about any country on Earth.
Learned from school textbooks that Australia was discovered by the English navigator James Cook in the 18th.
Don't you love text-to-speech, James Cook?
18th century. However, a century before that, Dutch sailors had already landed on its shores. Strangely, this fact isn't widely discussed.
Well, because they didn't do much else other than land on the shores. I've been to the place where that happened, and it's not a place you'd want to live. The town of Weeper is there at the moment, but that's just a mining town. And once the mine dries up, not many people are going to live there anymore.
The name Australia itself isn't that old. Previously, it was called Terra Australis Incognita. Today, I want to tell you about...
It was... Why do these guys never research? Until before Cook, it was referred to that, and that is Latin for the southern land that's unknown, basically. But yes, New Holland, it was called... Australia itself was referred to as New Holland because of the discoveries on the west coast, which was discovered before Cook came along. Cook did not discover Australia. He mapped the east coast and was the first European to do so. But he's just a European. Obviously, the Aboriginals were there, and others had visited Australia as well, the Dutch and Indonesians. But yeah, it was New Holland since the Dutch discovered it. But the land that Cook was looking for was Terra Australis Incognita, which was the southern unknown land. The thinking in the 18th century was that the continents needed to balance each other. The continents in the northern hemisphere had so much area, so theoretically they needed to have enough continents in the southern hemisphere to balance the Earth. They just didn't. This is pre-modern science, obviously. So they assumed that there was just as many lands in the south, and of course they're being expansionists, they were colonialists. They wanted to get as much land as possible, so they just came up with a name for the land they were looking for. And that's all that was. Australia was never actually officially named that, Terra Australis Incognita. You just connected the word Australis with Australia. Australia just means southern land, actually.
Enigmatic continent in the world, Australia.
Why is it the most enigmatic? Do you not know what an enigma is?
It's a vast territory with unknown contents.
What do you mean it's unknown? People drive across it every day.
Explore the unique creatures here and try to understand what the local Aboriginals say about their land's history. Towards the end of the video, we'll discuss the most intriguing facts that simply don't fit into our known history. Despite this, someone managed an expedition from Australia directly to Antarctica. One of Australia's greatest mysteries remains.
Why did you say that? Why did you say a mission from Australia directly to Antarctica? What does that mean? I mean, you can jump on a plane and fly there. That would be from Australia to Antarctica. But most expeditions were sailing from ships from Hobart if they came from Australia. Most of them didn't come from Australia. They came from South America. Do you not research at all?
Means its flora and fauna were new. Astonishing species are continually discovered. Currently...
What do you mean? That's a perfectly normal species. I mean, go to North America. They got squirrels. They're weird animals.
Australia boasts over 200,000 species of exotic creatures. Among them is the legged snake. But
these aren't... What? These aren't exotic creatures. They're perfectly normal. And that's a lizard, not a snake.
Most mysterious animals found only on this continent are the marsupials, kangaroos, marsupial moles, and until recently, marsupial wolves, whose population has now vanished completely. They were incredibly unique creatures that coexisted with us not too long ago. It seems like all these animals...
No, they didn't coexist with us. That's why they became extinct. Why did I say exist?
Animals were artificially created, a mix of two species whose outcome we witness today.
Are you what? Are you saying? Are you saying Australian animals are the result of a breeding program combining other species? Are you serious? I suppose you got a beaver and a duck to mate, did you, to get a platypus? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, how does that work?
Australia, the insects form a separate category of beings. Have you ever seen such gigantic stick insects? They seem...
What about them? They look normal to me.
More like a genetic mutation than ordinary insects. Australia is brimming with dangerous and venomous creatures.
You can say that about any country on Earth.
Especially along its coastline, where a vast variety of venomous species can be found at every step. Interestingly, all life in Australia seems to exist solely along the coastline.
I think by all life he means all human civilization. Not all of it, but the vast majority of it is. And that's because that's the best part, the bits on the coastline. You get to be by the sea, you get to go swim in the ocean. And plus all the most arable farmlands are close to the ocean. So you need to be able to feed your population, so that makes sense. Why would you do anything else?
Homes and cities are strictly...
And of course, the middle of it's all desert, so you can't really grow things there, and why would you want to go there?
...placed beyond a certain line. But who drew this line, and more importantly, how was that boundary determined? Australia may seem like a green continent to tourists, but its origins are completely connected with the desert. Just take a look.
Desert. That's the text-to-speech thing. It's desert, mate. Desert.
Solid plateaus, deserts, and mountainous areas.
Desert.
What about these incredible mountains? They are also exclusive to Australia. For a tourist, it's like getting into...
Well, actually, I understand there are some similar mountains in the Arabian Peninsula and places like that too. These are the Kimberleys in Western Australia.
Another world, but for locals, it's a common sight. How could such mountains form on the plain? Has nature worked so hard, or...
So an argument from incredulity. What a surprise.
Has it all been created by human hands who have yet to get to the...
These things are massive. What? He's assuming that humans created all this? Why? Hardly anyone ever goes there. What do you achieve by doing that? And it'd be a massive undertaking. And if humans had done it, it'd be really obvious that they had. You'd have, tool marks and tracks leading in and all sorts of human civilization evidence. Why do you assume it's man-made when natural is a much easier and obvious explanation? That's crazy.
The historic forests. Huge trees consisting mainly of eucalyptus trees.
Well, those are redwoods. Not in Australia.
Reaching a height of more than 200 feet. We all remember the sequoias. In America's California that stood for centuries and were then systematically cut down. In Australia...
I understood all the sequoias. There's plenty of sequoias still around. Is he saying the sequoias are extinct? I didn't think that was the case.
However, things turned out quite differently. We recall the fires not too long ago that devastated the...
Another redwood. Why are you showing American stuff when you're talking about Australia?
...the area, wiping out half of the animals.
It wasn't like that at all. It was just this part down here that was on fire, or maybe some up here as well. It was bad, but it didn't look like that.
Can you imagine how many unique species vanished after those fires?
Why just say, can you imagine? Why don't you do some research and find out how many and then tell us that? Why would you hide from the truth?
The famous Tasmanian devil is now on the brink of extinction due to an unknown disease that's affecting the local wildlife en masse. While researching, I learned that Australia sometimes witnesses...
You research? You haven't shown much evidence of research lately.
...a rare meteorological phenomenon called the morning glory. A long cloud formation
I was about to say that wasn't the morning glory. This is the morning glory.
That can span thousands of kilometers. Locals say the nature of this...
No, not thousands of kilometers. Maybe 100 at the most, but not thousands.
...unique occurrence hasn't been fully understood. But here's the thing,
It is fully understood. I can predict them.
We can witness similar phenomena even without traveling to Australia. Here in America, it's not considered a rare event. What's concerning, how...
Yeah, so it's just a matter of certain circumstances meteorologically, God, that's hard to say, happening. So it's independent of whether it's Australia or America or anywhere else. Just as long as you've got those circumstances, it could happen. And now he's going on to chemtrails?
However, is that rare species in Australia are falling ill. Their population's dwindling. On the contrary, rabbits, of which there are a vast number...
Now there's a weird animal.
...are multiplying endlessly. The entire...
Actually, the Khaleesi virus got a fair few of them.
The entire continent of Australia is divided by a fence. According to official history, this wall began construction in the 19th century. This fence is unlike any other. It stretches as long as the famous Great Wall of China. Moreover, it is patrolled by armed soldiers.
No, it isn't. You don't need armed soldiers to keep rabbits out.
Its height exceeds 6 feet, and in some places it is electrified with solar panels that allow it to function.
Written in German, eh?
Around the clock. But rabbits, known for their burrowing abilities, could easily dig under the fence. If it was all about
no, it's designed so that they can't.
Rabbits, they would have dug a fence into the ground to prevent burrows from appearing.
They did! You haven't researched at all.
It's quite curious. However, few people know that the matter is not limited to one fence. In fact, there are 3 fences in Australia. The third Australian wall, not so extensive, extends only 44 kilometers, but is a significant height of 10 feet. It surrounds the National Reserve and protects its inhabitants. Or is it? Can it restrict rather than guard, but from what? It's all pretty weird. What is the basis?
It's weird when you only take half-truths and try and mash them together into some sort of conspiracy theory, yeah.
Of this mysterious continent, even if someone decides to drive.
That is not Australia, because they're on the wrong side of the road if it is.
Around Australia on their own, they will be stopped immediately.
Interesting. US. I see US on there. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but that's it. I think it says Border Patrol as well. So no. And again, on the wrong side of the car if it's Australia.
By patrols. Free travel and movement are prohibited in Australia.
Oh, really? Then how come I can freely travel all over the country?
There are many fences, barbed wire, restrictions, even planes over Australia fly only on designated routes.
That's called air traffic control. You can fly over, one of the flights goes over Pine Gap. I've seen it myself, which is the most secret base in Australia, which is US base. They do all their submarine communications through there, apparently. The fact that we know that shows that it isn't that significant. So, but just, how do people fall for this bullshit? That's what I don't understand. I mean, we shouldn't need to explain that this is all crap. How does this guy get away with this? How do people follow him and believe he's telling the truth? Do they have no critical thinking skills at all?
But if someone dares to venture beyond the fence, fully aware of the rabbit danger, and willingly agree.
There are people on each side of the fence. And a bear? There are no bears in Australia, you idiot. Why do you use these images which do not support the things you're saying?
Agrees to the risks, they'll still face imprisonment or hefty fines. What's so dreadful?
Well, that's rubbish. Show me the piece of legislation that says that.
To see animals or perhaps intentionally keep people away from the heart of the continent. Moreover, even in...
Thousands of people go to Ayers Rock every day. Sorry, Uluru. And they go to the Olgas as well, which has an Aboriginal name which I can never remember. I'm sorry. So that's the heart of Australia. People go there all the time.
Indigenous people, the Bushmen, are prohibited from...
The Bushmen are in Africa, you idiot. In Australia, they're referred to as the Australian Aborigines. They have their individual tribal names. Most of them refer to them in the generic term of Murray. But there are others. There's the Bee up in Northern Territory and the Kurian around Sydney, and there's many, Quandamooka where I am. All sorts of different tribes all around the place. Oh, I've got a super chat. Thank you, Now Opinion. I haven't seen you for ages. And 27 sex. I love to have some sex because I don't get many very often. 27 of those. Hello, fellow smart people. And me. Nice to see you, Now Opinion. Thanks very much for that.
From crossing the fence. Odd, isn't it? The Bushmen lived in these lands for millennia, moving...
Why did you call them Bushmen? They're not Bushmen. They don't refer to themselves as Bushmen. There might have been like some swaggies who referred to themselves as Bushmen, meaning they had bush skills. But there's no tribe, the Bushmen.
Freely across these territories. Locals sometimes talk about times when fences didn't exist at all. We lived freely, went where we wanted, even to snowy...
There are highways through these fences. Oh, my God. It's just too stupid. How can you put together this and think you've got an argument?
Lands. If you travel through the desert for a long time, you'll reach
Dessert. Imagine traveling through a trifle, a huge trifle that you're just eating your way across. That's wonderful.
an icy wall beyond which lie snowy expanses.
What? Did he just... What? Did he just say you travel through the desert and you'll see an ice wall? What?
Say, by the way, did you know that in the southern part of Australia, there are snow-capped mountains with more snow than the alpine ski resorts? But
don't think so. There's the Australian Alps, and they're referred to as the Snowy Mountains. And they only really have snow in the wintertime. Although I have been on Kosciuszko where it was summer and they still had some bits of ice around. But because, it's fairly tall, 2,222 meters tall. But that's the highest mountain in Australia. So the rest of it didn't have any snow. But yeah, there are ski resorts. I don't think our ski resorts have the same area as in the European Alps somehow. I think that's a bigger area and it has a lot more snow. So bullshit.
But how is that possible? We all know the modern map and are used to seeing Australia as entirely desolate. But what if these
So in other words, the only things you've bothered to look at don't show what you've heard of. So you haven't looked into whether or not there's any truth to the fact that there's snow in Australia. You just assume, oh, well, that doesn't match what I've seen before, so it must be fake. How can you live your life with that sort of thinking?
day maps don't reflect reality? There are theories that suggest Australia is connected to Antarctica, which is precisely why this tall fence was constructed.
No, it's not. I've driven the southern coast of Australia. There's no connection.
It all makes sense if you look at medieval maps where there's no...
Oh, yes, everything makes sense when you look at 500-year-old maps. Again, this is before they discovered the east coast of Australia. In fact, I think you see over here near his head, there's a little bit of a peninsula, and that's probably the bits of, well, there's Madagascar there. That's probably based on the stories of early explorers seeing Western Australia, which they had seen from the 1500s from memory, because of the Dutch East India Company, which had spice coming back to Europe. But cartographers back in those days, first of all, they copied. Oh, they got New Guinea over here. That's interesting. They copied other cartographers. Remember, most people didn't even read back in these days. And they made shit up. They filled in gaps. Obviously, North America doesn't look like that. It looks roughly like that, but that's not an accurate map. So why would you expect anything down south before they knew that there was anything there to look accurate as well? I mean, look how big New Guinea is compared to South America. And there's no Straits of Magellan or anything here on this map of South America. So use some critical thinking and realize that you don't have a point.
Boundary between Australia and Antarctica. They're depicted as one single continent. Australia, as shown in a...
Oh, now, Pinion, you're being very, very generous. Thank you once again. This guy is silly. Australia doesn't exist. Okay. Yes. Yes, I don't exist. I'm a figment of your imagination.
Map from the 16th century contrasts starkly with the modern world map.
What a surprise! We figured out things. We found a way of making things accurate and seeing them as they are. Whereas 500 years ago, we were just speculating because we had no idea what was going on.
Scrutinize the old map of Australia closely. In the region where it's situated, there's a large landmass that is one with Antarctica, referred to as Megalonychus Narra Australis. This isn't just one map. There are numerous maps like this. Many only pay attention to the map as a whole, but few have examined it in detail. Have you noticed the creatures...
Sorry, I've got a funny noise going on. Anyway, he's, like I said, cartographers copied other cartographers, and the original cartographers back in these days just made shit up because they were trying to make a map. Maps were more for entertainment than anything else. No one would navigate the world using this map.
Depicted on it that inhabited these lands not too long ago. Here, we can observe familiar kangaroos, camels, rhinoceroses.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's very clear, but I guess it depends on when these were put together. They also got dragons too. That looks like an elephant. Rhinoceros, probably a leopard, probably a camel. Could be a kangaroo, but it's at that angle, it's a bit hard to tell what it is. That's a lion, horse, or a donkey or something. Yeah, in other words, he's just making a guess.
As well as mythical creatures like unicorns and winged lions.
Oh, I hadn't
People
noticed.
worldwide encountered unusual beings in the past, which are now mere tales and fantasy.
No, like I said, maps back in those days were basically entertainment. Maps of this type, maps of the entire world. They weren't designed to be used for navigation because, that's a scale that's too large. They embellished them with these mythical creatures to make the map more interesting to look at. People love to look at the map and study it. But it wasn't meant to be an accurate representation of the world because they didn't have that understanding.
But could they have been real? If the map depicts a one-humped camel that still exists on the island, it's possible that other creatures might have existed or perhaps still exist in the closed-off part.
But that assumes that it's meant to be an accurate representation, and you're totally ignoring the purpose of the maps back in those days.
Of the continent. What could this territory be that they're trying so hard to hide from prying eyes? Few know, but an expedition was even undertaken because of Australia, one that few have heard about. They ventured into lands where no human had set foot before. As for the photos of penguins in Australia, Macquarie Island, there's not much detailed information online for understandable reasons.
He's talking about Macquarie Island, which is several thousand kilometres south of Tasmania. It's part of Australia, but it's an old whaling station, and now it's a research station. That's why there's so many penguins. So, yes, it is Australia, but it's not typical Australia. You can't really draw a conclusion about the rest of Australia based on Macquarie Island.
Yet, this situation gives ample reason to ponder. Friends, I truly put in a lot of effort for you. I delve into
You've hardly done any research at all. You just made up a lot of shit, basically.
questions, create the videos entirely myself. Seek information that would be interesting and useful to you, as long
Yeah, you're a great fiction writer.
as it prompts contemplation. I'd be immensely grateful if you could support me, share the video, and subscribe. I simply want to open as many eyes as possible.
You got to open your own first. You're seeing rubbish.
News from Australia
Oh, yes, this is the Black Rock Mountain, I guess.
is rather scarce, and they don't particularly emphasize it. Did you
Dude, just ask anyone who lives in Australia. You got everything wrong.
know, for example, about the latest news from Australia? For some reason, in Australia, they've decided to build an Earth black box in case of humanity's demise. The
This is something I have no idea about. And why did he have to go to a Russian website for it?
box's task will be to record every step in case of any catastrophe, and its size will be comparable to that of a bus.
Isn't this the thing that is in Svalbard? It's a seed bank. And Svalbard's on the other end of the earth, up near the Arctic. If anyone has any knowledge of this in Australia, please let me know. But I've never heard of it, and I couldn't find anything on it because he hasn't really given us anything to search for.
Can you imagine? It's also equipped with solar panels, but why? What awaits us in the near future? Why build a black
Now, that land does look very Australian, but it also could be elsewhere too, because volcanic rock is volcanic rock.
box in case of an apocalypse, and why choose Australia specifically? What do you
Well, part of the reason would be that Australia's away from the rest of the world. If it all gets nuked, then there's going to be less effect on Australia. Might not be significantly less, though. We'd still probably get the nuclear winter and we'd probably lose all our wildlife. So, yeah. I'd like to know more about this black box he's talking about, or whatever he called it. But I've never heard of it. He hasn't provided any evidence. That's what these idiots do. They just make things up in their head and just put it out there as if it's truth without supporting any of it.
What do you think? Write your opinions in the comments about this. My name is Professor Aristotle, and until our next meeting on the channel, good luck.
Right. Oh, aliens planning to colonize Earth by 2030. Okay, I'm sure he has a good source for that. All right, I've had enough of this guy. I think it's... Oh, why did I stop sharing? I clicked the wrong thing. I'm sorry about that. Let's go back and StreamYards. Be nice if they did this more quickly. All right. Oh, I haven't got it open. It's time for Mean Roundup because I've had enough of this guy. Oh, it's over here. Let's do that. There we go. And the first meme sort of knocked me for six, really. There are Christians against satellites. I've heard of Christians against dinosaurs, and I keep planning to do a movie on Christians against dinosaurs because that's so hilarious. But they're against satellites? The negative impact of artificial satellites and space debris orbiting the Earth. Satellites interfere with our ability to effectively communicate with God. Prayers often collide with satellites and are deflected or destroyed upon impact. Satan uses satellites to intercept and alter prayers before they reach God, resulting in disastrous consequences. Satellites block God's ability to watch us. I always amazed. This must be parody, but there are people that for some reason think God can be limited by humans. He's not really God if that's the case. Satellites interfere with the paths of angels. And continued proliferation of satellites causes navigational issues for Jesus and further delays in his return to Earth. Yeah, it has to be parody. Doesn't it? Oh, come on, mouse, work. There we go. Here's a Flirth meme. Why do all craters on Earth from exactly 90-degree angle to the flat surface? Neither one of them have ever had a tilt or angle of track before impact. If we live in a spinning ball in space, what are the chances of any impact of space rocks hitting Earth straight down at a perfect 90-degree angle? First of all, it's not a perfect 90-degree angle. Second of all, there are examples of non-90-degree angle. Thirdly, the non-90-degree angles tend to erode in a way that fills them in, whereas if you have one like this, the meteor crater in Arizona, because it came down more like a straight 90-degree angle, it erodes from the sides in rather than, you know what I mean. And this ignores the big flaw in their argument, if it's a Flirth argument. Why are asteroids coming through the firmament? Huh? There shouldn't be any. Shouldn't be any at all. They shouldn't be able to get here if space is fake. But they don't think about that. It's all special pleading. You cannot have gas pressure without a container. Yes, the brainless say these things. Structure of atmosphere is... So they're admitting that there's a gradient, which disproves that there's a container, other than gravity. And you cannot have a container without a creator. Yes, but why? Why would God bother? It makes no sense. God could God could just as equally make a globe. And in fact, the vast majority of Christians believe that. And as I said, the container for the atmosphere is gravity. Or celestial elevation angles require Earth to be flat. Nope. That's the sort of thing said by someone who has never done celestial navigation. And someone who's never done geometry. Now, being a unfeasibly obese, corgi-obsessed moron, this one really appealed to me. The 12 corgis of Christmas. So we've had 12 corgis barking, 11 corgis judging. Corgis really judge you. 10 corgis upside down. Yes, corgis get into the strangest position. And today's, because there's only 9 days till Christmas, 9 toy destroyers. Well, not just toys, they'll chew anything. And I've put this up on my community page if you want to look at the rest of them. But yes, corgis are wonderful. Curtis Clemmer. He saw this meme and didn't get it. There are millions of people that don't believe the moon landing happened, but people walked on water. They did, that did happen. Curtis, why advertise your stupidity to potentially the entire world? And I thought this is a good one you can use. This applies to Curtis. I'm thinking you weren't burdened with an overabundance of schooling. So this is from the X platform, or formerly known as Twitter. I killed space travel. You really didn't. And for some magical reason, can't see. Yeah, you think he'd learn how to spell satellites. Yes. This is small, but the cows out there are far away. Oh, come on, mouse. I think I need a new mouse. Flat Earth research, which is a wonderfully hilarious contradiction in terms. A compass can't work on a ball. I think we covered this with CC, didn't we? It can't work on a flat plane with only one pole. And look at the reason for why they think a compass can't work on a ball. Oh, because it points out into space. What idiots. Oh, this one I love. When your Flat Earth buddy shows you his new ink. No ledge is power. He's not very powerful then. And yeah, maybe we should get a t-shirt with this for all us globe debunkers. And this is a common misunderstanding amongst flirts. Plane flying from east to west at 300 miles per hour. Go a bit faster than that, more like 500. The Earth rotates from west towards east at 1,400 miles per hour under the plane. Well, no, at the equator, it's 1,042 miles per hour. A tangential velocity, of course. Earth's rotation is not measured in miles per hour. It's measured in degrees per hour. 15 degrees. How does the plane not reach its destination 1,400 miles per hour faster, nor is a return trip longer or shorter? How? The answer, the Earth is not spinning? No. The answer is the atmosphere moves with the Earth, and it's flying in the atmosphere. It doesn't suddenly lose its momentum from the rotation when it takes off. It's part of it. Why is that so hard for flirts to understand? It's crazy. And yes, just a little dig at the YECs, creationism, because it's easier to read one book than a bunch of hard ones. Now, Ghost Gone is a flirth idiot on the X platform, who I get a lot of memes from. Oh, by the way, where's Wally gave me some of these memes, so thank you, Wally. Heliosexuals, whatever that's meant to mean, don't understand their own model at all. And he demonstrates that he doesn't understand the globe model at all either. He also demonstrates that flirts don't scale. Because if that's 33,000 foot, the Earth is the size of what? That big eye in Las Vegas? Yes. And as Mostly Harmless says, you are so dumb that you have to be a Poe. And yes, I'm pretty sure he is a Poe. Because he's, unlike most flirts, he does allow dissent to his posts. Whereas flirts just, if you prove them wrong, they'll ban you. So if the Earth was, this is a similar thing, if the Earth was really a sphere, from a pilot's point of view, the horizon would always tend to go down. And it does. Meanwhile, in reality, the horizon always remains at eye level, only possible if the Earth's flat and level plane. But it doesn't. You've just moved the camera so that it is in the middle of the picture. I've shown many times on this the picture from the top of a mountain in America that's with water levels, red water, that shows that the horizon is not at level. It's below it, which means the Earth curves away from you. Oh, I love this meme too. Magic 8 ball. Am I stupid? And it's a bowling ball. I think the answer is yes, Flurf. The answer is yes. And nobody's getting shit this year until you all wake up. Message from Woke Santa. And I think that stops us today. Oh, dear. And I am not getting my cursor happening. Come on, work. Oh, goodness me. Have you seen a silly meme lately? Because I'd like to add them to my collection and present them in the show. So please send it to me and I'll show it on the stream, if it's fit for general consumption, of course, and look in the description of this video for the contact details. Let me know who you'd like to look at in the Weekly Jarsz next week by leaving a comment below. I appreciate all suggestions. And now opinion. Oh, wonderful. The Australian Bank seems to exist, but it doesn't look like a doomsday vault photo shopped into the Australian desert. Thank you very much. And 129 secs. I have to look up how much that is in Australian dollars later. But thank you very much. That's very generous of you. Join me next Friday evening, UTC at 19:30 or 5:30 a.m. Eastern Australian Standard Time. For the next Weekly Jarsz show, we'll again look back at the week in derp and laugh at the stupid. Do the YouTube things, like the stream, click subscribe, click the join button, and become a member. Leave a comment. I love to read your comments. In fact, the more comments, the better. In particular, if you're one of the few who watch my videos who aren't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button below this video. On your screen, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And I'm going to play the outro, but please make sure that you watch through to the end and so you don't miss a message from Red's Rhetoric. And I think that just about does it. There's nothing left to do but cue the corgi.
You're despicable.
Piss off, you fat fuck.